says crafting is a dying art? I'm finding crafters all over the Middle Tennessee area who make unique items that'll be passed down for generations to come. Welcome to HandMade Tennessee. I'm Kimberly Vance, and our special guest today is Dorinda Watts. Hi, Dorinda.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Very good. How about you?
Fine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in today. I'll tell you what, I guess I would say that you are one of Warren County's most celebrated artisans. Would you say that's accurate?
I hope that's right.
I'll tell you what, we have been very excited about having you on today because of all the beautiful pieces that you do. This is absolutely amazing because, in my opinion, when you see something like this, it absolutely had to just come from the store or something. They magically appear in the store. We don't think about where they come from. This is beautiful. I can't wait to talk about some of these pieces.
Thank you.
All right, these actually do not just magically appear in the store, do they?
No, they don't. It takes some labor for those.
I'll tell you what, this is absolutely unbelievable. Now, will you tell us a little bit about how you decided to get started on making pottery?
Well, I worked in the same plant for 40 years, and I wanted something physical to do, so I went to school at John L. Evans and learned how to be a potter.
Now, how long did it take you?
I went for 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm still learning. We learn every day in crafts. It's an everyday thing that you do.
Now, when you started taking your lessons, did you just automatically have to buy all the equipment, or is it something that you accumulate kind of as you go in time?
You accumulated. I went and got me a wheel just right away because I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I threw on my back porch, the deck, anywhere I could just sit down and throw the clay. And then...
Throwing the clay, when we were talking a little bit before the show and you were talking about throwing the clay, that's actually just the term for when you start spinning the clay.
Right, you actually throw it on the wheel one time.
That's cool. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be good. You're going to give us a demonstration in a little bit. Now, so how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this probably right at 9 years now.
Wow, that's something else.
Yeah.
When everybody first started talking about it, I was like, I know her. She doesn't do pottery. It's like, yes, she does now.
She does. Yes, she does.
All right, so what all types of items do you need? Like, are there different kinds of clay that you would use, or is it all like, you know, I need some clay and all the clay is the same?
No, I purchased my clay out of Nashville, so you have cone numbers that you go by, and cone is the temperature that your kiln fires.
Oh.
You have cone 10, which is a reduction firing. You have cone 6, which is electric firing. So you have to be careful not to put a cone 6 into a cone 10. It'll just dissolve the clay in just a blob into the heat.
How many times have you done that?
I've never done that.
Oh,
I try to stay on top of that.
That's good.
Because you'll run your kiln and your equipment that's in your kiln.
Wow, that's something else. And I'm sure that it's not a very inexpensive.
It's a very expensive hobby.
I figured
the clay's relatively cheap and the electricity's cheap. But a lot of your glazes, the glazes are expensive, and I make some of my glazes, so then you got to buy chemicals.
To go in the glazes.
Right.
And I noticed that some of your pieces are like this one here, this beautiful mug is shiny. Does this have a glaze on it?
It does. The brown is a glaze. I think it's bamboo. And then this is the glaze that I actually had a lot of glaze left over, and I combined them all together. So this is the color that it came out with. So whether I can master this glaze again is an iffy thing. So it might be a one-time thing.
I started to say, in other words, all of your pieces, even though some of them may be similar, they are all one-of-a-kind items. Wow. So whatever you get, your neighbor's not going to have the same piece. That's beautiful. So you're saying that you put a glaze all over this, and this is how it came out.
And it's dipped. This is one glaze, and then this is another one. So we dip it all in the brown below, and then dip this in the glaze, another kind of glaze, and then fire it. And then it runs within itself. All your glazes are not compatible, so you can't do all your glazes like that. They just won't work together.
Now, are your glazes clear?
No, they're
different colors. That's what I thought you said. This one was a bamboo.
This is bamboo, and it's actually a reddish brown when it goes on, and it fires out this color, and this is just a rust-looking color. And then the kiln brings it to the high temperatures and turns it the rainbow colors.
So when you put it in the kiln, you have really not a very good idea of what color it's going to come out?
No, the humidity, if it's raining that interferes with it. If it's cloudy, that interferes with it. It's just all, you just keep your fingers crossed. So if someone ordered a set of dishes from me, I would have to make the set of dishes and fire them all at one time, because I would never be able to fire them in separate batches because they'll not come out the same color.
So if you do fire them, do the same procedure on each one, same glazes, and fire it at the same time, they come out pretty close to the same?
Pretty close.
Pretty close? That's the key word.
Not matching. They won't be matching like this one right here. This is, see, this is not got the blue in it than this one's got. It's brown. That's the same glaze.
Wow.
And that platter is green, and there's no, that's the same glaze.
That is gorgeous. My, that is heavy.
It is heavy.
Oh, that is beautiful. So this is the same glaze.
Same glaze. Same glaze, and that's green, where this is not. This has got the rainbow colors.
Isn't that something else? Now, how are these for the dishwasher?
They are dishwasher safe, they're microwave safe, and they're oven proof. You just cannot sit them on a stove eye. But other than that, I cook in mine all the time in the big oven, and they go in the dishwasher when
we were talking about it. I absolutely love my apple dish.
baker.
And you were telling me about another recipe for onions and stuff
French
too.
onion in there.
I never thought you'd probably do a green pepper or anything.
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah.
I'm stuck on apples, of course, this time of year too. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, do you sign every piece?
I do sign everything. I try my best to sign everything, and I had an article wrote up about me in the Southern Standard, and she had "From the Heart with the Hands" on it as the logo on the write-up. So I have now started putting a heart on all of my stuff.
That's cute.
Because that is from the heart. All of this is from the heart.
I'll tell you what, to do this much work and put this much into it, it has to be a labor of love.
It is a labor of love.
Now, speaking of a labor of love, we were talking a little bit ago, you actually like to do a lot for the community as well. I know, Relay for Life.
Right. Well, I have wanted to do this for about a couple of years, and I didn't know if I was productive enough to produce a massive amount, but I donated 100 to Cindy Rogers. They're going to sell them, and but I ended up with 120. So they have the Relay of Life logo on the bottom of those. So
are they bowls?
They're bowls. They're small bowls. And so they're going to get 120 to sell for the Relay of Life.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, we'll just find out from our Relay of Life representative, won't we?
Yes.
Oh, that's, now we know what we're going to be shopping for.
Right.
Well, that'll make some great presents, too. Now, what is this little piece? I love these little handles.
It's a casserole dish. I have 8 of these fixing to go to Florida that I had some people from Votech came in to my studio, and she ordered 8.
Wow.
To go to Florida.
Now, does she realize that they're not going to be exactly the same?
She does.
She probably loved that,
She
didn't
does.
she? Now, this one is nice and smooth inside on parts, too. So you did the same technique for the glazing? Oh, I love that. Now, how in the world do you make the handles?
It's just all in this mind.
Wow.
You just roll out a piece and flatten it out, and then it sticks together when it's wet. So you just push the handles on there. After this gets like leather hard, then you can manipulate it around to get the handles on.
Wow.
And they're not perfect. I can stand right here and say they're not perfect. So.
You know, that's what gives them their character and their charm, though. I'll tell you what, this is a treasure. People, I'm sure, just have their pieces. You said you have several people who are collectors.
I do have a lot of people collecting off of me, which is where I want to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. And now this one, does it have a glaze on it?
It does. It has this glaze on it.
That bamboo?
This glaze alone, yeah, and it's not been double dipped, so it just came out
that is just
color.
Something else. Now, we were talking about your designs. Where do you come up with your designs and what you decide that you're going to make?
Actually, I go to the Walmart or any of the stores and look at their dishes and try to get a rough idea of what to make. A lot of people I have come in off the street and say, I went to a pottery shop and I saw a cornbread baker, or I saw an apple baker and I'd like to have one. So people are good to me that way. So they asked me to make them one. So if you can never get one made, then
kind of got the pattern set for it?
then you've got the pattern set.
Now, are patterns something that you can buy in pottery making?
No.
No patterns?
No, it's all...
It has to be up here.
It has to, and it takes it a while to get there. To think pottery, you got to think pottery.
Yeah.
to get those designs.
So I guess you can't go anywhere without seeing a design in your head when you see dishes.
Correct.
Oh, wow. That is
Correct.
really neat. Now, we were talking about some of your designs. This is something new. I know you set up at the fair every year, and we have so much fun hanging out with you there, but I've not seen any salt and pepper shakers yet.
Those are the new items this year. Every year when I go out there, people wants to know what's new this year. So my salt and pepper shakers are the new item this year.
Oh, that is so neat. I absolutely love those colors.
They are beautiful together.
Wow. Now, what if somebody says, I want something with blue on it? Is that just too bad?
Well, most of the time, if the glaze is compatible, you mean like this right here? Yeah, it'll just be whatever the kill's doing that day.
So they'll like it or love it.
Right.
I personally love it. I think it's wonderful. All right, now this right here, something like this, would you sell in a set?
Yes, it's nesting bowls.
Oh, these are so cool.
Batter bowls and they're nesters.
All right, show us how the nesting bowls work. See, I thought that you had just made some hearts. I thought that's a really cute bowl shaped like a heart. Show us.
It's actually a batter bowl, so this is what you use for your thumb. You just pick it up like that and pour out here. A lot of people buy them for their eggs, and so then you got a set of nesting bowls.
You stack them up like
Right.
that. Oh, that's so neat. Now, do you sell these individually?
These will go together, but normally they sell individually, and everybody calls them a heart bowl.
That's what.
That's
Good.
what
I'm
they
glad I'm
call
not the
them,
only
a heart
one.
bowl. So, and I have to say, well, that's a batter bowl. Oh, yeah, that could be used like that. Gravy bowls. A lot of people buy them for the gravy bowls.
That's a very good idea. I can't tell you, I love to cook and eat, and I can't tell you how many times I have had my thumb in a bowl, and I've had the stuff on my thumb when I'm done. Oh, that's brilliant. Now, did you come up with that?
No, I didn't. I had
saw it
someone
somewhere?
off the street come in and ask me about the heart bowls. So
And then-
they had saw them somewhere.
Then your brain went to work.
Right.
That's cool. Now, this right here, I thought, oh, that's a beautiful little jewelry pot or something. Tell us about this piece.
This is actually a butter crock. They call it a French butter bell. And you put 3/4 of the way of cold water in it. You pack your stick butter into this container, and then you turn it upside down, and you can leave it out on the counter, or not a stove, because that gets hot, and so it'll last up to 9 days, I think, in there without having to change your water.
I was going to ask you about the water.
Right. If it's 80 degrees in your house, though, your butter will slide out. I do know that from the directions, but I've never had any to slide out. Now, I have a lot of people that buys them, and they'll come back and they'll say, I bought one of these and my butter won't stay in here. Well, and I'll say, how did you do it? And they'll say, well, I just cut a piece off the butter and put it in there.
But you have to pack it.
You got to pack it, yeah. I usually take a spoon and pack mine, you know, where it'll adhere to the side.
And then it'll stay in, pretty much, I guess, gravity
Right,
keeps
and it stays at room temperature, so when you got toast or anything like that, it's spreadable.
Oh, that's neat. All right, now this right here is a completely different color.
That is one of the white glazes, and the reason it's two colors like this is it got thicker when in the glazing on the white part than it did right here, but it makes a really pretty pattern when it goes down like that.
Now, what do you mean it got thicker? The glaze got
The
thicker?
glaze was thicker. See, when I glaze these, I have to pour the glaze in here, and then I have to stand over a bucket and round the glaze out to the inside. And then because this bowl is so heavy, I had to put pegs in a bucket and stand it up on it and then pour the glaze from a cup around it. So when you're pouring, you're going to get thicker places if you go around and around it than you do in some of the other places. So these are really heavy to glaze.
And you said this one's already spoken for.
That one is sold. That is Miss Chandra Elliott's bowl. She bought it the night I made it. So that is her bowl. She wants it for baked beans.
Oh, really? See, this would
Family
also be
get-togethers.
a gorgeous decorative piece.
Correct.
Too. But baked beans, oh, that's wonderful. What a great idea. And then she could just put it right in the oven,
Right
get
in
it
the
out,
oven,
put it right on the
take it with
table.
her.
Oh, wow. Now, you were talking about taking your lessons and finding your life's passion is what I would call it. Knowing you and knowing how you feel about your pottery, I would call it your life's passion.
It's going to be my passion, as long as I can sit down behind that wheel.
All right, now, since you have absolutely loved it, you want others to love it too.
I
you
do.
give lessons now.
I have classes. I've got some people that's been with me ever since the first night I started.
Wow.
And they come back every class.
Are you proud then when you see a piece that they've done?
I am proud. I like to see them go from just a piece of mud to something. It's very fulfilling to me.
I started to say
and it's
it's-
like anything else. Some people excel at it, and some people struggle at it. I struggled at it really hard
Did you
when
really?
I started.
But you loved it. You knew that's what you wanted to do, so
I
you
was
kept on.
determined to do it, and that's what it takes, determination.
Wow.
But I have, I teach 4 on Tuesday night, 6 to 9, and I teach 4 on Thursday night, 6 to 9. And we only do the wheel throwing. We can't, we don't glaze or use the kills because that's another territory.
Do you do any lessons at all on that?
No, because you got to mask up for that, you know, and I have a lot of girls that have purchased their wheels now, and then they bring their stuff to me to be glazed and to
be
fired, right. And you can contaminate your clay so easy if you get just a few drops of one glaze into the other, and then it's contaminated. It'll change colors on you. So
wow.
It's a lot of, I got a lot of money invested in the glaze. And the kills are dangerous, so
wow.
they don't need to.
That's something else. I didn't know that. Now, if we wanted to take lessons from you, how would we find you?
By my cell phone, it's 931-409-0665.
Okay.
And I've got a class starting this coming Tuesday, and then as soon as that 2 months is up, we go 8 weeks.
Okay.
Then I'll be starting another one in 10 weeks.
So it's an 8-week class.
Right.
Do you ever have anybody come and say, well, I'm not going to be able to do that and drop out?
No.
Everybody loves
They
it.
stay.
Oh, that's something else.
They
So
stay.
during your class, you teach them how to throw the
Right.
clay.
Right.
Wow.
And
See,
we do some hand building. I've got slab rollers and extruders. That's another territory that's not involved with the wheels.
Now,
So
what is hand building?
you just roll your clay out. You can roll it out with a rolling pin and just basically form whatever you want it to look like. You know, you can flute it, make a platter or long square platters.
Now, that seems like that'd be a lot easier. Why do the wheel?
Because I just prefer the wheel because maybe you can produce more. Okay, you can produce more. You're more. I just prefer the wheel.
Well, I have never even heard of folks who made pottery who could roll it out.
A lot of
I
your
thought the
stuff
wheel
are
was required.
handmade. I mean, hand rolled. If you're a potter, then you know that a lot of places they slip and pour. They've got molds that they pour them in. But if you're a potter, you know the difference between all that.
Now, if the item is mass-produced, is that probably what they do? Is slip and
slipped
pour?
and poured, like ceramics.
Does that just irk you when you see
It
stuff?
does, because this is an art. This
Yes.
is an old art.
And that's what we're trying to do on this show,
Right.
is preserve a lot of the old arts and old ways. Well, I am really excited that there are going to be many more potters on down the road
I hope
through
so.
your classes.
I hope so. I've
Oh,
got
that's
some.
neat.
I think it's going to excel. Got a lot of children that love it.
We were talking about mine.
Right,
Mine's
your
mine.
children love it. Yeah.
You know mine.
Right, I see them one year at the fair, and then the next year, and they'll come in and they'll say, "Hey, remember me?
Yeah.
You know, I was here last year." So
Oh,
I get to
how
see
fun.
them grow from year to year.
It's like being a teacher.
Right.
Oh,
It
that's
is.
really something else. Well, would you care to give us a sample now of how you
I would
throw?
love to.
All right,
Would
great.
love to.
Let's move over to the wheel. This is going to be really exciting. Now, you said you didn't put the tarp down today, so you're not planning on slinging and
I'm
making
not.
a big mess
No,
today?
I'm not going to make a mess today. Hopefully, hopefully.
That's all right. We have a great cleanup crew in case you do.
Well, I found out quickly you got a bucket and mop too.
Do you keep a bucket and mop handy?
Oh yeah, got one in each room.
All right, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
That's-
this is your actual wheel.
And this is the pedal. It's just like a gas feed, so it controls your speed of your wheel.
Now you whack that down there. Is that just
That's
kind
the
of give
only
it some form?
throwing there is to it. They call that throwing clay. So you got to seal this to this bat because it'll will come off of the bat.
Now, have you ever flown any through the room?
No, but I've had some students that have.
So take lessons at your own risk,
Right.
right?
So you got to seal it on the bat.
Okay.
So it should be sealed now.
All right. So by sealed, you mean fasten it down,
right,
basically
fasten
rub
it
it
to
down.
there.
All right.
And I probably won't be able to talk to you right now while I'm centering because you're not supposed to hold your breath when you do this, but I do. I've never been able to stop that, so. And this is called centering.
And you're just mashing down on that.
With every power in my body.
Really? Oh my, look at the shape that's making. Wow. All right, so you're just mashing
So it
down.
should, yeah, it should be centered. See, I pushed with this hand.
Oh, yeah.
And then kept it from rising up with this hand.
Oh, that's perfect. Now, what are you holding in your hand? Is that a
It's
sponge?
just a sponge. It's a sea sponge.
sponge.
They're softer. Artists use them a lot for their writing. Now I'm fixing to put a hole in the middle of it.
Now, what is the hole going to do?
Well, it's got to have a hole
Oh.
so I can make it.
Oh, so that's the top of your
Right.
bowl.
You gotta
oh,
have-
wow. See, it looked like the bottom of it when you were doing it. It was so perfectly formed.
This is called
Wow.
compressing.
Now, I guess this is where you actually get the width of your bowl, or how deep it's going to be.
Right. That's going to be your bottom.
Look at that.
So I'm actually pulling the clay from the bottom to the top.
So you're pulling the clay.
Right.
Actually pulling it. Okay. Wow. Now, how do you know how tall you can make something? Does the amount of clay that you throw determine that?
It does. I think there was about 3 pounds in this piece.
3
But now you
pounds
got
of
14% shrinkage, so it's not going to be anywhere this large.
Oh, okay. After you fire it?
Right.
Okay.
It shrinks because it's so much water in it. It shrinks while it's drying, and then it shrinks when you put it in the kiln. It goes in the kiln twice. So.
And there's a 14% shrinkage. So I guess you know in your mind how much 14% is.
Actually, I don't. It's still hard for me to visualize that. I have a ruler at the house, a shrink ruler. And so I
guess
usually.
is that a pottery piece that you can buy, a shrink ruler?
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
that's
It
neat.
tells you where it starts out. This is just a wooden knife. Looks like a knife. And I'm fixing to trim the bottom of it.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is
And
amazing.
it cuts off where I had it sealed on the back. We like to call this a wax ring. Before it's glazed, you have to use wax on the bottom of it to keep the glaze from sticking to the bottom. Because it will seal itself to the kill shells if you leave glaze on it.
A wax ring? I didn't actually see you put anything on that, though.
No, it's after
They
it
just call it-
dries,
okay.
after it goes through the bisque firing before you glaze it. Then it's just, in fact, some of the potters just have electric skillet and they just dip their bottom in it.
And that's after it comes off of the wheel?
This is just a piece of chamois, car chamois.
Yeah.
Kind of go around it like that, and it pushes all the grog back down in it.
Would you say grog?
Grog, which is sand, actually.
Oh.
Watch my fingers right down here. I'm going to put a design on this bowl. You can just manipulate it any way you want it to look and change it all right in your eyes.
So every piece actually does have your fingerprint on it?
Yes, it does.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And now you're just smoothing that up a little bit. Wow.
That's a finished piece.
Oh, that's a finished piece?
That's a finished piece as far as I can take that piece.
Oh, my goodness.
And you just pop it off the wheel,
Oh, that is gorgeous.
sit it somewhere to dry.
Now, how long does it take that to dry?
Right now, the way it is, it'll take it about 7 days. About 7 days.
You were talking about the temperature outside. At your shop, at your studio, do you have a place that you actually sit everything?
I have shelves all the wall. The whole studio is. You talking about the green wire?
Yes.
Green wire? Yes. I've got shelves that we set them on after we make them, and
Okay, so
Let 'em
greenware
dry
is
out.
what you call it when it sits. All right, so now you've got the greenware.
Right.
What do you do next?
okay, then it'll dry.
Uh-huh.
Probably
For a
about
week.
7 days.
All right.
And then it'll come off the bat. We'll finish the the bottom down with their initials.
That's the part that you make smooth there?
Right.
Okay.
And then it'll go into the kiln, and it'll fire for 8.5 hours. That will be the bisque firing. You take it out, and this is when you wax. I paint the wax on where there's no glaze. There has been wax there.
Okay.
Wax it, dip it in the glaze, then clean all this off again, and then put it in the kiln. And then it fires it. The first firing is at 1732. The last firing is at 2232.
Now, what does that mean?
The glaze firing, that's hours. And the
Okay.
temperature
Okay.
is 2,232 on the last firing, and the first firing is 1,732.
Okay, so they have to be a different temperature
Right.
to get. And the reason to fire it twice, does that just make sure it tags?
When
or?
you fire it the first time, it takes all the water out where it gets it ready for glaze. There is clay out there now that's one-time glaze. You can glaze it with it green like this, but I'm not familiar with it, so I never have used it.
You just like the way you like that. This is the
way I
tried
learned.
and true
so
way.
this is the way I keep. And lots of times the one-time glaze is a save a money thing, so you only have to fire one time.
Yeah. So, all right, this bowl right here. When can we expect to see it? All finished and ready to go.
If I'm not backed up in the kiln, probably about 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks.
3
Wow.
weeks.
That's something else. So it takes you a little bit to make a set of dishes. What else have we not covered here? I think we've got everything. Now, what about the designs and stuff have to do 100% with the glaze? Do you ever paint anything on them, or?
I have had some orders where I painted people's children's names on them, but not a lot, because a lot of that glaze is low fire. And low fire glaze is not safe. If it's low fired, it's not safe to eat out of. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. And all yours are.
Mine are
100%
safe.
to
There
eat
is
out of?
no lead in my
Wow,
glaze.
that's awesome. That's something we have to really watch out for.
Right,
too.
the low fire, you're not supposed to be out of ceramics because
It's more
of the
just a
low
look.
fire. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, this has absolutely been amazing. I had no idea. I knew that a lot went into them just by watching you, but I had no idea that this much went into it. This is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming today and for showing us this.
Thank
This
you.
is a wonderful thing that you've preserved here. Thank you very
Kim. I
much.
appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Well, our guest today has been Dorinda Watts, and that's pretty much our show for today. Thank you so very much for watching today. I'm Kimberly Vance, and I hope that you've been inspired to create your own handmade Tennessee. If you enjoyed today's show, check us out on Facebook for other shows and information at www.facebook.com/handmadetennessee. You can also email us your comments or suggestions to handmadetn@bltv.net.
At socialsecurity.gov, you can apply for retirement, disability, or Medicare from your own home.
Chekhov applied in his pajamas.